you might as well have thrown all the money away. I don't like that proposition in business much, because what it actually means is keep on spending, it might work, it might not. Today I'm on my way to see two companies, very different businesses. One is a multi-million pound accommodation tourism centre, and the other is a smaller timber manufacturer in the construction industry, about 100,000 turnover. So literally, one is about 100 times bigger than the other. Why I'm going to do a video is they're calling me in to talk about websites and internet marketing and things like that, and I think that it's going to be the same conversation, as in the only difference will be the number of zeros on the end of your turnover. But it might not be, but that's what I think will happen, and I will update you once I've been to see them both.
Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Oh, such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging on.
Okay, I've left my meeting and I'm going to do a video just about the larger business, because, well, first of all, it'll be dark by the time I get out of my second meeting, which won't help my video quality. But secondly, we covered a lot of material, but specifically we got into data capture as a strategy. Because the meeting went along the lines of many questions, such as, why does my competitor rank above me in search engine ranking? Okay, explain that. Second question was, I've just spent £12,500 on banner advertising, but I only got 75 bookings. The banner seller says that's a good return. I'm not so sure. What do you think? Okay. We're about to do YouTube videos. How do you optimise them? It was that kind of meeting, because I've met them before, so it was very much a blitz of information in different segments. Okay, it wasn't a coherent story. It was a blitz of information. But why I'm going to talk about them is data capture. Because banner advertising was the interesting, or most interesting element, I think, that's relevant to all businesses. He says £12,500, showed the ad many, many times on niche websites as a banner. I had a few clicks, over 1,000 clicks, and I had 75 people go to the booking engine. And I said, oh really? How many people actually booked? I don't really know, because the trail ends at the booking engine. Once they go into it, if they decide that they don't want to buy anything, I don't know. Okay. Do you think they're right in how they've defended their performance? So I have a look, and there's an email from the owner of the banner seller. It says, dear whoever, I think you have misjudged the performance, because think of all the brand awareness we've created by showing your ad, which may not have translated into bookings, but we're sure they would have rung you. Well, you're not that sure, are you? And more importantly, you don't know. That's speculation. Okay, if you don't use like a code, a quote code for customers to use, then how do you know they rang me? You don't know they rang me, you're making it up. Okay? So that was the first part. He then said, which is when you kind of knew he was in trouble a bit. He then started quoting industry statistics, such as, I don't know, I'm making them up, right? 50% of businesses benefit from banner advertising in the world. But once you start quoting banner statistics to justify your performance, like industry statistics, you're in trouble. Because that's information I give people before they buy to justify the work, the project. This is what it could do for you, not after you paid. That means nothing then, does it? That's just going to annoy you. If you didn't get what you expected and I start reeling off industry statistics, you're going to be like, whatever. Rightly so. So, I just turned it into money, which of course you should do in the end. It's all about the phone ringing, or as the lady said, the number of people who stay here, which of course it is. I said, well, if I've done the maths correctly, and I had to double check because it was so bad, £12,500, 75 bookings, that works out that £100 a booking? It can't be. It is. That's quite a high cost per acquisition, I would argue. But that's my point. I then say, well, look, I can't answer because I'm not the consultant. I don't know the story. There's an argument which I agree with that he's making, that there was brand awareness. Lots of people saw the ad in the right market, but I'm not going to buy that with the number of bookings that came through. You know, that's not enough, is it? Brand awareness. And of course, this is what he said in the email. He said, you haven't given it long enough. All advertisers say that, right? I think, sincerely, believing it, and I have some sympathy with it, which is you have to let ads run a certain period of time before they start working. Even the person who invented outdoor advertising, P.T. Barnum, in 1880, said you have to leave it up. If you stop advertising before that point, that tipping point where people have seen it 6 or 7 times, you might as well have thrown all the money away. I don't like that proposition in business much, because what it actually means is keep on spending, it might work, it might not. So, you know, you're certainly not going to pacify a customer by telling them that when they just spent £12,500. Yeah, but you need to spend more for longer. Maybe you do, but that's not what you told me at the start. You told me I was going to get a return on the investment. Now you've changed the story. So I did answer, because that's my job. I give direct answers to direct questions, and I was asked one, which I said, this guy's back is right against the wall, isn't it? Because that is, I think I used the word desperate. That's a desperate defence of performance. But then I said that's not the best way to answer. What you should have asked me is, was that the best investment? Not did it work? And that's how I would look at any marketing expenditure, especially before you've spent it, is if I'm going to spend money in marketing, it has to be in the right place at the right time for the right cost. Which means I have to compare ideas. I have to look at, I could spend £12,500 on banner advertising, or, as we said in the meeting, or I could spend £12,500 on Facebook ads. Now there's a fundamental difference between a Facebook ad and a banner. And that is about, as I said, data capture. It basically means whether you have a legacy for your investment. If I buy banners, just like Google Ads, when I stop spending and you stop displaying, the business stops. There is no more business because I took it offline. I cannot actually use any of the previous information because typically I won't have collected any emails or consumer data. And that's the end of it. I just spent £12,500. Well, the results are the results, and there is no long-term payback, whatever the advertiser says. You didn't build an asset, a data asset, a consumer asset, or a business-to-business asset. Meaning, get their contact details. Every business should have a data capture strategy. Because the difference between banner, Facebook, once you like it, I know who you are. I see you on my profile, I know who you are, which means, assuming I say the right things, I don't annoy you too much, I can communicate with you at will in the future, probably for years to come. That means the return on investment is spaced over years. It works for years, it continues to work. It doesn't turn off when I stop spending. Data capture. I said, or, just to finish the marketing assessment, or, I'll tell you what else you could have done. You could have spent £12,500 on a human being. That's a person, that's a payroll for a year. You could have had somebody in your office full time, ringing people up, finding new bloggers with their own followers, creating relationships, broadcasting your message on social media, creating new content. Now, I'm pretty sure that would have worked far better because you would have had 240 hours of creative marketing time. That was an alternative. And so on. I can do all kinds of things in marketing. I have to decide what's most likely to work, what's the best return. Data capture must be in there. Data capture, people willingly giving me their details so that I can sell to them again and again and again. You must have data capture strategy. Now, what does that mean? That means ask for the data. Pretty much. You know, put up a box. By the way, no one gives you your data for nothing. I call it data capture, but it's not really. It's a data transaction, which is, yeah, I'll give you my information. I'll tell you who I am for nothing, but I want something back. It better be enjoyment at the very least, or send me something. Give me a discount. Send me a brochure. I don't care. But there is no willing handover of your personal data. It's a transaction which you must deliver. So if you put, I'll send you a brochure, that is still a deal. I've sent them something for nothing. Everybody likes something for nothing. So that's what I'm going to say. So it kind of isn't internet-y today, really. It's not as geeky as I thought, because what it kind of brought up was, even when you've got a lot of money to spend on marketing, data capture must underpin everything in today's society, because having data is how you turn digital marketing into a high return on investment and money. Because I can communicate with you over and over again.